useful to start with a little meditation. To settle into our seat in a posture of dignity, which connotes a straight spine. Ajahn Amaro says, the spine like a flower reaching for the sun. So it's not stiff, but straight. And we give ourselves permission to let go of what we have been doing and not to engage in future planning, which will come soon enough, but just to rest now in momentary present awareness, relaxed, still, and alert or vigilant. As we settle into that relaxation through a scan of the body, from the crown right down, as we have done before many times. Letting the cells release. And notice where we might find tension. Sometimes our jaw is clenched, or our brow is furrowed, or our shoulders are held up instead of totally relaxed and loose. Sometimes there's a tightness in the solar plexus. We hold tension there. And we consciously let our belly relax. Let it spread. So used to holding it in. That idea. Just being natural. Letting it be. Dropping into the ground. Out of the head. Into the ground. Watching the belly rise and fall. Without any force or impedance. Without doing anything at all. The body breathes. How wonderful. Permission to completely let go. Just this moment. As the body breathes, attending to the sensation at the tip of the nose now. Fine-tuning our awareness. And simply attending right there to that sensation for a little while. If counting is useful, counting a full breath of breathing in and out as one. Counting 10 cycles and then returning again to one. But it's not necessary to count. Sometimes counting is a good anchor. Just the breath. As I mentioned, the practice is to be genuinely relaxed and aware in each moment, in each situation in life. To accept and appreciate who we are. And it points us to mind's true nature. Tilopa's teaching begins with a supplication to Mahamudra. He says, I bow down to that glorious, spontaneously arising state. Just like Dujum Rinpoche's description of the natural mind, empty, spacious, and pure from the beginning, like the clear blue sky. Its nature is luminous clarity, unobstructed and spontaneous. Always present. Unobstructed, like the sun shines on everything. Completely awake, completely aware. And he goes on to say, Mahamudra can't be described. Unless, my Naropa, it is taught to one possessing enough intelligence to endure the hardships of the spiritual path and devotion to their Lama. One like you, with a heart pure enough to hear the purest things. Tilopa is telling us that we do need a certain level of intelligence and devotion, a certain level of experience, of mastery over the initial practices. And he's also saying that we need a certain level of mental acuity and perseverance to understand what he's explaining. Truth be told, I didn't initially have the perseverance to really try, to stick with the practice, to explore its benefits. It requires strong determination, which comes from developing and deepening our renunciation. Those 4 thoughts that turn the mind to practice, remembering how very precious this life is and how very rare it is to actually look at that, analyze that, see if that's true. And do I think that I will always have it? Remembering how fragile it is. As fragile as a bubble in the sea froth of a wave. And what sorts of karma have I created? What seeds have I planted? And contemplating all the various sufferings within cyclic existence, studying them, knowing them, having an aversion to them, not wanting them, cultivating a definite emergence from this merry-go-round of pain. And this is what it means to have a mastery over the initial practices, for it is the precious human life and impermanence that we develop less attachment to the happiness of this life. And it is karma and suffering that we want to get off the wheel altogether. As Lama Tsongkhapa says, when you have day and night the mind aspiring for liberation, then you have generated the determination to be free. It is this kind of determination we need to have the perseverance to actualize Mahamudra. The kind of perseverance that Milarepa displayed to Gampopa. And he says, Kye ho, cast your gaze well upon worldly things, which cannot ever stay. They're just a dream, an illusion. Illusions and dreams which in actual fact cannot ever truly exist. So learn to find them sorrowful and give up these games of the world. Our normal attitude is to grasp at momentary, transitory pleasures. We know we take refuge in all manner of distractions. When we take refuge in the Dharma, we are changing our attitude. And we need to recognize just how short-lived pleasures, how just short-lived they are, and therefore unimportant. Lama Tsongkhapa says, bless me to see all that's wrong with the seemingly good things of this life. I can never get enough of them. They cannot be trusted. They are the door to every pain I have. Grant me then to strive instead for the happiness of freedom. And we practice by witnessing our distractions, our grasping onto the illusory and temporary pleasures of this life. Not that we shouldn't enjoy, because we should, but that we must stop thinking that our happiness is within those pleasures. And he goes on to say, let go of your fondness for your retinue. Turn away from all your loved ones. Walk alone into the forest to an isolated hermitage and practice meditation. Reside within the state of non-meditation. Reach that thing which cannot be reached, and you will reach Mahamudra. Turning away from all our loved ones is to actualize our highest potential, is to actually embrace our universal loved ones. Lama Yeshe used to call bodhicitta an enlightened attitude whereby you open your heart to all living beings and live that way as much as you can. When we open up hugely to others, our consciousness expands. It becomes universal in a very powerful way. And it's the same with the Mahamudra experience of non-duality. No separation. We engage in this expansive awareness with Tonlan as we expand our love to encompass the multiplicity of universes. It's a method to open our awareness to the vast empty nature of the mind. This is expansion, is another method for realizing mind's true nature, which has no boundary. And then Tilopa tells Naropa, things of this cycle are meaningless. Just feeding your ignorant likes and dislikes. The things you do lack any essence. So focus upon the ultimate essence. You won't see the object beyond all thought with the things that you're thinking. You won't find the object beyond all deeds with the things that you are doing. When I first read that, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't really want to examine the things that I was doing, thinking, I think I'm living a virtuous life. I didn't want to look too close, I don't think. But Lama used to say we must check up. How much of my time is spent in frivolity? How much time is spent attached to the joys of cyclic existence? Am I embracing the naked mind of awareness when I'm on the computer? It doesn't mean we can't be, but am I? Am I aware of reactions, thoughts, feelings, emotions, likes and dislikes, grasping, pushing away? Tilopa says, if you really long to reach this object beyond all thought, beyond all deeds, take a trip inside your mind and rest there within the naked mind. Penetrate the putrid swamp of your conceptions. Don't feed or strangle what appears. Just take it as it comes. And when there is no more to grasp or let go, you are released into Mahamudra. Lama Yeshe talked about the two approaches to realizing emptiness. In the first instance, one studies, analyzes, and then meditates. In the second, we can meditate first and then seek the view. The question is, what is the view? Dujim Rinpoche defines the view as naked awareness, within which everything is contained. Sensory perception and appearances as conventional reality, and emptiness as ultimate reality. Lama mentions that after studying, memorizing, reciting, debating, he realized that even if he knew all the Buddhist texts and understood them intellectually, it would never touch his heart unless he meditated. In verse 22 of the Ganges Mahamudra, Tilopa says, you can practice the perfections, you can practice the secret word, you can study a collection like monastic discipline. You can analyze each different school's texts and modes of thought, and still you may not see clear light Mahamudra. To learn the words alone is not enough. If we don't go beyond the intellectual level, our mind will not be transformed. The practices of listening, hearing, and analyzing are to be done congruently, not studying for 20 years, analyzing for 20 years, and then finally penetrating in meditation. Relative Dharma is like a bridge. Once you've crossed the river, you go beyond the bridge, beyond mere intellectual philosophy. In early Tibet, Mahamudra was kept secret. It was the first Panchen Lama, Losang Chukyi Gyaltsen, who first recorded this practice. The problem is ego holding every changing thing as absolute. But absolutely, they are not this. They are not that. Absolutely, they don't exist in any permanent, independent, unchanging, concrete way. We grasp relative reality as true, permanent, and real, when in fact it's a mere appearance that Tilopa reminds us cannot ever truly exist. And because of that, we can say that all phenomena, self and others, are unsatisfactory. They're unsatisfactory. They're unsatisfactory. They're not permanently satisfactory. They are in the nature of suffering. In the complete path, the seventh Dalai Lama points out, he says, since all things composite are impermanent, life changes and never abides. That change is the basis of suffering, because the samsaric mind fills with frustration on watching its creations continually fade. To stop the spinning, we have to see how the mind fabricates our experience of the world. It all begins with ignorance, the state of being ignorant, lacking knowledge, or ignoring, refusing to take notice, ignoring. We don't see. Lama Tsongkhapa advises that the third principal aspect of the path, wisdom, is cultivated by realizing that all appearances are infallible, dependent arisings, and that emptiness is free of assertions of inherent existence or non-existence. And he says in the three principal aspects of the path, when you see the arising of cause and effect from the viewpoint of emptiness, you are not captivated by either of the two extremes. Our mind that is full of content is like a circus train. Many cars with different engaging appearances. Sometimes our thoughts are pleasant as we reminisce about a delightful event. Sometimes the movie is unpleasant, recalling a nasty email or a contentious conversation, bad news. Like the passing train, each thought will pass. It arises, it is seen, and it dissolves. It has no essence unless it is given energy. In Mahamudra practice, it is simply keeping the mind in its fundamental state where its clarity and wisdom are revealed. The true nature of mind is calm and clear and full of compassion and love and wisdom. That's its true nature. So it's on the hour, it's a little after the hour. We'll take a 5-minute break so that everyone can shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Stand up. Get your energy going. What is your experience of meditation? Well, I need to be specific. You have different experience in different practices. All right. So as we sit through Tilopa's instructions, what's your experience of it?
Well, it's interesting because when I came in, I had wolfed my lunch down and I got wound up. And this also was hitting me, so I was quite sleepy. And I was anxious that I would fall asleep at all. So I listened to what you were saying and I tried to internalize it. And bit by bit, everything sort of quieted and the focus came. And by the end, it was fine. So it was a transformative effect.
And what did you learn from it? Anything different than you already knew?
Well, the power of words on the mind. Yes. To say it.
Bade, what was your experience?
Just a reminder of indeed the calmness of the mind in its true nature. It felt just very calming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is that a place you can go to normally?
But not immediately, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
It's
through
guiding us, yeah.
I, I, I can get to that calming place, and that's kind of like, oh, you know, and to be there for a little bit, and then, you know, and the thing that when you were reading about give up your family, give up, that's hard. That's a hard one for me. So then my mind starts going, okay, well, would I really want to do that, you know, and do you really have to give up everyone you love, and you know, it starts going there, and then a little resistance, right?
Sure, I understand.
And
Yeah.
then you try to get back to the calm and say, you don't have to worry about that. Just, but it does, that triggers me.
Yes, I was triggered when I read also, and I hesitate to actually share it in a group. You know, I hesitate to read that one passage. Turn away from all your loved ones and walk alone into the forest.
That's good to me. It's like, oh yeah, but then,
Yeah, I think the attitude when it says turn away from all your loved ones, I don't think he means you know, give up your family. I don't think he means that. I think it's more a matter of finding the space to be able to not be in that. And retreat does require, we do need to walk away, because at some point in time, in order for the mind to really settle like an hourglass, you know, the sand to go right down, it has to be still. It has to be still. And if it's always keep being turned over, it never comes to that place of being settled. And being able to stay in that settled place takes training. You know, we can direct our attention. That's relatively easy. Someone says, turn your attention to the sensation of the breath at the tip of the nose, and you can go right there. And you can go right there pretty quickly, but staying there is a different scenario altogether. Sustained attention has to be trained. Because I think it was Rick Hansen who said, we want to eat lunch, not be lunch. It's trained, it's in our DNA to be, there's some sort of scanning for negativity. So we have this negative bias. He said, negativities are like Velcro and positivities are like Teflon. So that when he's talking about taking in the good. So in order for information to drop into the unconscious, to be able to be sustained, to stay there, then we have to keep it there. We have to hold it there and train it. This is important. And then it goes, okay, we won't bring up quite so much of this extraneous peripheral awareness. It won't be so strong. My experience is that if I make a really strong determination when I start, and I determine how much time I'm going to stay there, and I set a timer, then I'm more inclined to be able to stay put, because I've trained my mind to do that. And in long retreat, in 3-year retreat, when I would do a sit, walk, sit, 20 minute, 20 minute, 20 minute, I would sort of come out of that meditation about 3 seconds before the bell went off. It was uncanny. So the mind can be trained, but it takes practice and perseverance. And there are so many attractive things to do in the world, so many distractions, so many possibilities. I don't think we can get to all of them in this life. Yes.
what do you think of the Zen approach to the Pali Canon of 84,000 Dwarves, and how they feel that really enlightenment can be anywhere? cup of coffee can happen in a moment.
Yes, I think it depends on your definition of enlightenment.
Want to say more on that?
Not now.
All right.
No, I'm not a student of Zen. I can't say that I've done a lot of study and practice of the Zen tradition. My partner that's where he started in Zen. But I mentioned last weekend that for me, Zen is difficult because in Tibetan Buddhism, there's numberless mind training techniques that one uses to transform. And you study those. And you don't just sit with, as you do in Zen, to just sit with the mind, but you have the potential to actually train the mind in compassion. And I believe that once one sees the nature of mind, compassion does come. And I had a debate with my Theravadan monk friend about that. And he said he doesn't know any master in the Theravadan tradition who is a realized master who doesn't have unbelievable compassion. So we were just talking about that because they're not actually training in bodhicitta, the wish to liberate all living beings. They're not sure that you can liberate all living beings. But what it does when you train, for me, when I train in bodhicitta and I think I want to help all living beings, there's a sense of cutting judgment and criticism because all of those beings, all of them, I want to liberate them. So I don't want to allow judging critical mind to be debasing anyone because then maybe they're not going to be in my basket to liberate. Yeah. So it's a different approach, and different people are drawn to different ones. And I think for me, I find Tibetan Buddhism having all of these different techniques to be rich in training the mind.
What confuses me a little bit, and this is sound real odd, is the mathematics of it all in terms of.
Oh yes, don't go there.
Liberating everything.
Yeah, don't go there. No, that will make you nuts.
What was the question?
The question, she says that what troubles her is the mathematics of it all, liberating all living beings, the mathematics of that all the time, over how many countless eons, and how many. Yeah, why isn't half the earth liberated by now? Yeah, so maybe it is. It's not manifesting in that way in the moment, is it? Yeah, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to repeat what you say. We probably need a mic that's going around, No, it's okay. It's broken. It's broken. Things are broken. We need to liberate the microphones and the speakers, No, I'm going to liberate it tomorrow. No. Oh. Yeah, well, this is just part of the path, isn't it? Part of the suffering, to not have everything we want, not get what you want, get what you don't want, and lose what you love. Please.
I was just thinking about when I think about all the beings and the universe, blah, 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 that has to, it's true. There are many beings in this universe we can't see. So how do we know they're not liberated? They just don't happen to be on this earth. So that's how I.
So there are many beings that we can't see. So perhaps they are liberated. And so maybe there are half of the sentient beings are liberated. It's possible. Anyway, the mathematics of it all is mind-boggling if you start to think about it. So I don't go there. Phyllis.
I experienced such deep sadness with looking clarity at my
Mm-hmm.
past attachments.
Mm-hmm.
Just depressing. Really, I started crying. And now you're being emotional. You walk into this stuff.
Having sadness over all the difficult things in life. Sure, things you were attached to and things that you have done. Right, not understanding them until recently. Yes, yes, I understand that. And Lama Yeshe told me once there's nothing, absolutely nothing that we have done that cannot be purified. And if you think about the mind's nature being completely empty, pure, and spacious, that's its true nature, then there's no need to dwell on anything that has come before. Yes. It's not pleasant? Oh, you mean you're getting what you don't want? No, I don't mean to make light of it. Yes. 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 But for me, I think I hate to be not to take it as a very sad thing, but really as a release of it, a purification of it, of a bringing up. It's like, yes, exactly. Just going right through it and seeing that it actually has no essence. It dissolves in its very wake. Okay. How do you keep walking into that sadness? By thinking and realizing that within that empty space of mind, this thought comes, okay? And it's not pleasant. But if you leave it alone and you're paying more attention to the space within which it's arising, then it can't stay. It can't stay unless it's given energy, unless there's a liking or disliking and pushing away attitude, but just letting it be. They see it's a circus train. Mm-hmm. 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 I think perhaps resting deeper and deeper, more and more relaxing, more and more resting, more and more being, simply being. It is it's like a burning up of, it's by having it exposed, it's possible to release. It's possible to let it be and see that it doesn't have the power to shake up your reality. It doesn't have that power. Here comes another one, and here comes another one. It's almost as if thinking of it as a scientist, more curiosity. Oh, I don't know. Oh, okay. It's a radical acceptance of what's arising without becoming embroiled in it. Yeah. Is it helpful at all to think like that?
It's like my compassion is great for other people, not great for me.
Of course, it's not great for you. Okay, I understand that. This is rampant. Our compassion is very easy to give to others, very nice to help others. But when it comes to helping ourselves, it's often very, very difficult, which is the main reason why when we drop this enlightened energy into our heart, as the Lama dissolves into us right there, and that love sits there at our heart, the main reason to allow that to begin to fill the body is to actually believe in the fact that we are loved. And when we feel that we are loved, then there's really nothing that can harm us. So we have to keep doing that again and again and again, because the mind is very tricky. It's very trained to, derail us. And it's been our habit for not just this lifetime, but it is our habit to fall into that self-deprecating mode of I did that and that.
Part of that was very also for some- it's so hard to love, to believe I'm loved.
Hard for you to think that the universe, that there are enlightened beings who are, your cheerleaders, who actually love you and want you to be free of all suffering. Yeah. Yeah. So if you think of your teacher who has a loving heart and your teacher loves you, that's all you need. We don't need any other, we don't need anyone else to validate that love. We can just rest in that love. Our teachers have cultivated love as big as the sky, and they can hold us, and they do. When one of the 10 qualities of a teacher is that they have abandoned discouragement, that there's nothing that we can do that they will turn their back on us. They will teach us again and again and again with patience and loving kindness. And so we bask in that glory and bask in, the only reason that you're sitting in this room is because you created the cause to be here. You see, in order to be here, you have to have created the cause to have a precious human life, which means you have to have engaged in pure prayer and pure morality, which is hugely difficult. So thinking about who you are and what you did to get here, to be able to do that, the blessing of being able to be in a place where you can actually hear the Dharma. If we think about that, it's important to really talk about the preciousness of the human life and that you actually have one. So there you go. There's a reason to love yourself. So, you do this when you get up in the morning. Way to go, girl. I got another precious human life. I didn't die last night. I'm still here. Yeah, so it is any time that we're dropping into this naked mind, it has the potential for a wellspring of all of the things that happened and came forward and things that we regret. And this is one of the blessings of Vajrasattva practice. So doing that, and at the end of that Vajrasattva practice, when your Lama, who's manifesting as this amazing, beautiful, stunning white being made of light, and as you embrace them, have them dissolve into you, becoming one with them and really feel purified of all the causes, all of the mistaken actions that we did, all of our negative speech that we engaged in, and all of our terrible thoughts that we engaged in, then just feel purified of that, because in fact, all we have is this moment. That's the only thing we have. And it's only when we grasp onto the past or we fantasize about the future that we spin in some unnatural reality. So right here is what we have. And we cultivate a mind that abides in a state of peace and love and compassion and wisdom. And once we have a taste of that, then we stay there. As much as possible, we stay there. And all of the fluff that comes through, whether it's fabulous or whether it's miserable, doesn't really matter, because it actually dissipates in the sun of our own love for others and ourselves. We grow that. That will dissipate by wisdom, looking right straight through it. It's like pulling the curtain in Oz, seeing that Oz right there, Oz, our very own Oz has been, shaking us up our whole life. But in fact, It's not there. So we don't need to believe in it. We can go back to Kansas. Or not, maybe. No, sorry, no, I think we should probably go to Tushita. That would be a better place, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel for you because I know that it's not, it's hard, but sometimes hard, through the hard comes a higher glory. Yeah. So we can let that wash away and exactly wash it away. And the most important thing once we've washed it away is to believe in what's left behind, the goodness that's left behind, and believe in that and say, this, okay, this is my true home. This is my true home. And if we say it over and over again, pretty soon we will believe it. But we do have to, it's mind training. We can train our mind to be anything, as the military complex knows. We can train our mind. So we're training our mind to abide in a state of love and compassion for ourself. Really, we have to start with ourself. Lama Yeshe said, you must ban the self-pity mind from this universe. And I mentioned also that His Holiness couldn't even believe that we have that. He just couldn't get it. Yeah, yeah. He just couldn't believe that. Why? If we believed that we truly do have Buddha nature, how could we beat ourselves up? We just have to dig until we can find it. We become archaeologists to uncover that and allow that to grow. The sun of wisdom will completely dissipate all of the fog of ignorance. This, I believe, is true. Okay, does anybody else have anything to add or ask?
I
Please.
have something to add.
Please.
I don't know how to put it in a question, if maybe through explaining, but I really appreciate the depth that you went into. I forgot the book that we studied. It was like one of the original Mahamudra texts. And like dependent arising really wasn't explained. And so it was all kind of poetic to me and to everybody. And then there was people there that English was a second language and they didn't understand it very well. And so we're trying to memorize and trying to conceptualize or whatever the teachings. And so I just want to say that it's really nice that you went and explained what all the, the terms kind of mean. And I actually did, like you explained last weekend, from at Kopan, from the nuns and from a geshe, did get a taste of what my mind potential is for expansion and pure light mind, and just a taste. And then I was like, oh, how do I get back there? So you said that happens, and then I'm like, okay, what do I do, and I kind of contrive it and whatever. Sometimes it comes a little better, other days it's just like, okay, I tried and that's really awesome. I need to now focus on something else, but
Yes, good, thank you. It is true. As soon as you go, oh great, there it is, poof, it's gone. But that's not it either. Yeah, so it is striving for it is it's more and more relaxing into it. It's more and more releasing and letting go and relaxing into it. And understanding is really, really important, to understand what it means and what they are, what these terms mean, and to understand it. So I think for now we're going to do a little meditation. Okay? So let's settle into our meditation seat. So we have done some meditation where we have brought the Lama into our heart after subduing the circus train that runs through. We have done that. But every time we sit down and determine that we're going to meditate, we're going to look at the nature of mind, it's useful once again to ask our Lama to come and bless our mind, even if it's a very short practice. Because having their help, bringing them, and knowing they love us, and they only want for us to be happy, and they would love to enlighten us if they could. But as Buddha said, I've shown you the path to liberation, but you should know that liberation depends on you. So we practice again and again and again, dropping into that space. So please find your meditation seat, lengthen and straighten your spine. Allow your body to settle into a state of relaxation. Bring an image of your Lama before you. And with gratitude for everything they have given us, ask, please bless my mind. And then imagine that they're smiling at us. Remember a time when you were particularly enamored with something they said or did, how they smiled at you. Imagine they love you like a father for their only child. And they want nothing more than to bless your mind. And they are, in fact, the embodiment of the 3 times Buddha. They have already actualized this path. So imagine that they do, in fact, get smaller and smaller, their bodies made of light. And let them come to your crown and descend slowly down and come to rest at your heart. They merge with your mind and their mind become one. And with that, let all the parts and all the limbs fully relax. Let both the outer coarse body and the inner subtle body relax. And with this relaxed body, feeling the warmth of love at our heart, let the love expand to fill the body. From head to toe, a sensation of warmth, a sensation of love. And tell yourself, oh, I am loved. And it's my nature to love. And then make a determination with the body relaxed in that way, remaining upright, allowing the mind to settle evenly within. Sometimes it's useful to first allow the mind to expand, to allow awareness to first fill the room and then go out until it goes as far as the imagination will allow. And we recognize that it has no boundary. Vast and spacious. And then we bring it back until it's resting in a natural place. Resting evenly in present awareness. Just this moment, not chasing after the past, not anticipating the future, not analyzing the present. Just rest evenly in momentary present awareness. The knowing of knowing. Resting evenly without one who does the resting, or without something to be put into a place of resting. Rest evenly beyond blocking or encouraging, beyond effort or exertion. Just settle evenly. Rest evenly beyond hope and fear. Hope of a good meditation or fear of its opposite. Beyond hope and fear, rest evenly. rest evenly like space, without a center or a periphery. Whatever thought or mental affliction arises, whatever feeling or experience arises, rest evenly, without blocking, without encouraging, so they simply dissolve on their own. Relaxed, at ease, in the present moment of awareness, in a non-conceptual state beyond all mental engagement. Rest without mentally engaging in anything at all. If you need an anchor to stay in the present moment, you can turn to the sensation of the breath. If you are slipping into dullness, straighten your spine. Let more light in to your eyes. and think this may be the last opportunity you have to see the true nature of your mind, because death is definite and the time is indefinite. So reinvigorate your intention to see, to know, to rest evenly in naked awareness. From time to time, you might expand your awareness out again. And then bring it back to rest in its natural place. And then, if this is available to you, gently open your eyes, gazing at what we call the in-between, unfocused, attending to naked awareness without engaging in anything at all. Rest there. Let your attention be vivid. Body like a mountain, mind like the sky. And when you're ready, begin to come back, wake up this body, become alert, open your eyes, and be present in the room. And then some stretching is probably in order. Yes. Yes. So I recommend from time to time to actually turn away from all your loved ones, walk alone into the woods, into the forest, to an isolated hermitage, and practice meditation. It takes a while for the mind to settle. So, but even making a determination at home to do a weekend retreat, starting Friday night and then all day Saturday and then finishing after your morning session is very worthwhile to do if you do it regularly, once a month or once every 6 weeks, something like that. Take a weekend and do that. Make it, put it in your calendar. Okay, yeah, this is retreat time. This one. It's not hard. And if you make it beautiful, if you make it lovely, if you treat yourself like a princess or a prince with bringing really good food to you so that it makes it something that you really would like to do, you're treating yourself and you're walking away from all of the chaos, turning off the chaos and subduing the mind. And you can just be joyful, chanting, just be joyful and not think of anything else. Amazing not to allow yourself to feel like there's something you have to do. I have to do that. Oh, bring anything in. Don't bring anything in. Like, oh, I got to finish that newsletter. Oh, yeah, I promised so-and-so I would do thus and so. Take nothing with you and bring no phone. And you just put one of those vacation on your reminders on your email and don't be tempted to turn your computer on. It's amazing to me when I think about how attached I am now to my email and I don't have Twitter and Instagram but I do have Facebook because I say I have it because my son is an artist and he posts his paintings. And I say, I'm only going to go until I get to his post. And then, anyway, for 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days, I did not have any of that. I did send an email once a week. I didn't look at any email, but I sent an email. And nobody sent me any email anyway. I sent an email to Vajrapani because they did my shopping, our shopping for Keith and I. So I would send the shopping list. That's all. For 3 years. I look back on that and I think, I don't know how I did that. My kids were very kind. I sent a letter to all of my relatives, even the ones who are don't understand. I sent a letter trying to explain to them what I was doing and why I was doing, thinking of it as kind of like the thesis of a PhD, after 20 years or 30 years of study, this was the final cherry on the cake. And, my brother said to me, he said, well, I don't understand. He says, but I support you. So, and this is the way they supported me in that way and don't understand. And my children, one of them I never spoke to. They did know that the phone up at the house, I was down in a retreat space above the garage. I had just a bedroom, living room, kitchen. And my partner was up in the main house. And there was a phone there, a landline that had an answering machine. So they knew that it wasn't going to get answered, but they could leave a message. And if they left a message, I would call them. So I spoke to my middle son once, and I spoke to my daughter just a few times. And I had already made an arrangement that every November I would go out and I would meet them. Because we had gone to my brother's for years. We went to my brother's for Thanksgiving. So I went out for, I think, 5 days and met them. People would say, oh, that will be very disturbing. But it wasn't at all. It wasn't at all. It didn't just, I was able to just go right back in and it was just fun. And it made them feel supported, and we were able to catch up. And they didn't accost me with all kinds of things that I needed to worry about for the next 6 months. It wasn't like that. They were very kind.
How old?
Well, I'm 77 now, and this is whatever year this is, and I came out of retreat in 2014. Yeah. It took a year to get into retreat. I had a business that I sold, and then it took a year from that time to actually get into retreat, to put everything in place, to everything I needed to do to make it so that it would be seamless and I wouldn't have to, there wasn't anything to do in retreat. And it's quite astounding, actually, if I think about it. I can't imagine actually how I did it, but we did it together. And Keith never came out of retreat and never talked to anyone. And he has 2 children. And we saw each other once a week. We had a date on Saturday. And on Sunday, we would have brunch. We didn't talk. The first year, we were silent. So we didn't speak to one another. The second year, we had what we called functional silence. So in other words, if we were working in the garden, I might say, tomorrow, bring the shovel or something like that. And the third year, we had tried to work on Marshall Rosenberg's nonviolent communication by really being able to speak in terms of facts and feelings and needs and requests. And I mean, it was really amazing, actually. When we were together on Sundays, we had about an hour and a half, and we would speak about our practice, what was going on for us, because we were essentially doing similar practice, but similar but different. We had originally thought we would do all of our practice together. We would sit in the same gompa, we would practice together, but it became obvious even before we went into retreat that was not going to work, because we had just a different schedule, different rhythms. And so we decided to do it the way we did it. And in retreat, we had what we called deep retreat and gentle retreat. So for the first year, we had a month of deep retreat, which was very strict, 4 sessions a day and very strict. And then we had a month of what we called gentle retreat, which meant we could have the afternoons off. No session in the late afternoon. So just mornings and in the evening. And we did that for the first year. And the second year, it was 2 months deep, second and third, 2 months deep and 1 month gentle, until toward the end. And then it became more gentle for the last maybe 3 months or so. Yeah, gently coming out. But at the end of it, it wasn't like we could hardly wait to get out the door and get into town and do whatever we were going to do. It wasn't like that at all. It was like we didn't even come out, actually, for a while. But we weren't in strict sessions like we had been before.
What did you learn from those 3 years?
I've had people ask me that.
A month.
There's a lot of letting go in 3 years of mental grasping. There's a lot of recognizing, particularly in not speaking for a year. There's a lot of recognition in how much we talk and how much energy is dissipated in that talk, and how much time we waste in talking, and how much we influence other people in talking, planting seeds on their mental continuum, which may or may not produce a positive effect. So that was something that
So it made you a lot more mindful.
I would say.
Intense.
Yes, I would say. Yeah. You ready? Yeah, good.
When I've ever-
Yes, I would never allow anyone, or never suggest that anyone, not allow, of course you do as you will, but I would never suggest that anyone do more than a day retreat to just be with themselves and love themselves. You know, this is really important, to treat yourself super well, not like, okay, now I'm going into retreat and I'm leaving behind everything I love. And not like that, you know, really. Yeah. Start with a weekend.
Okay. Yes, I will. All right.
Yeah, it's really beneficial. And I had thought we were going to do something else, but now that we're just about to the end, I think maybe we'll go to, do we have a way to project Master Shantideva's prayer?
Yeah, she has. She's-
Yay. Well, so if you would put up the dedication prayer, so we'll dedicate, and then finally we'll dedicate with Master Shantideva's prayer. Great. Yeah, that's fine. And then I can do,
I guess she had it.
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure it comes next,
Oh,
actually. It comes next. Um, mm, I'm sure she'll have also Gary Geshe Cherubs. But then I wanted the swift return prayer that I read. But that's not, it's actually, I can't remember the Lama's name. Anyway, I'll find it. And then let's go ahead and dedicate, and let me find that.
I have all those with returns.
You have the last one, and it's the latest.
Yeah, it's the one. Well, let me see.
It says, you departed, and
There it is, may all beings everywhere.
yes, that's
Shanti Shanti. So,
that's not the one that we know we have that one. Yes, I think it's that one. You have that? Can you project it? Oh, okay.
No.
I don't. Yes. Is it? Sorry. Okay. She has that? Okay. All right. Well, let's start with the dedication prayers. Thank you so much. Sorry for the confusion.
I don't think she knows what. There.
Yeah. Yeah, she had it right there. Yep. That's it. Let's stop there. So think that to come and be in this holy space and sit together with our spiritual companions on the path is such a blessed event. And to take a look inside the mind with an intention to wake up and be of the greatest benefit to all beings is so profound. Let's dedicate all that merit. By merit of this virtue, may I become Buddha and lead all beings, everyone, into that enlightened state. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow, and may that born not decline, but increase more and more. In the snowy mountain paradise, you're the source of good and happiness. Powerful Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig, please remain until samsara ends. Great upholder of the moral way, the bountiful bearer of all good, sustaining and spreading Buddha's word, expounding magnificent prayers. Kyabje Zopa, the great Rinpoche, protecting disciples, come back soon. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, find an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merit. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all meditants be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, there too may I remain to dispel the misery of the world. And if you have the swift return prayer that Shanka sent you,
Oh, no, she had, His Holiness'
okay, that's fine.
prayer.
This, I don't, yeah, is this
You'll
it?
have to tell her because you can't hear.
This is all right. Isn't this beautiful? Yes? I don't know this one really because I don't say it all the time. This is fine. Yeah. Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the lamp of the Gendon teachings, the supreme refuge, Lama Zopa, has departed in order to rouse to the Dharma disciples who cling to permanence. Supreme Being, you took upon yourself the Kadam teacher's way of life and were bound to it night and day, greatly benefiting the teachings and transmigratory beings, great master of the teachings, supreme guide for East and West, hidden yogi, Lama Tupten Zopa. Unrivaled Lama Zopa, you took His Holiness, the Sovereign Lord of Victorious Ones, as your crown and followed all His instructions. Benefactor Lama Zopa, for the many public and personal needs of Tibetans and others, you opened the vase of resources and cleared away the suffering of hardships. O great mind Lama Zopa, you held helpless and voiceless animals with a mind of loving kindness and were their holy savior and protector. Siddha Lama Zopa, Lord of the ocean of mandalas, with the wings of emptiness and compassion, you crossed the waters of the generation and completion stages. Lama Tupten Zopa, great hidden yogi, ornament of the activities of the Gendon traditions. In truth, a great son of the victorious ones. Having thought of me and other transmigratory beings of the degenerate age, from your seat of lotus and sun, at the heart of Sangwa Yeshe, may the jewel that fulfills all wishes, emanating again with the brilliance of 10,000 suns, smile swiftly and without obstacles to our eyes filled with tears of faith. Okay, let's do this. Yes. Beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life.
That was the 11th day long prayer.
I thought so. Yeah, that's good. It's fine. It's beautiful. Yes.
Yes, that's 11th.
Yes. All right, all you Dakinis and Dakas, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate. Yeah, very good. Very good. And so then tomorrow is another day. If we live to see it, we'll be here. As Ernie Koufax used to say, God willing, and the creek don't rise.